Hey guys, today our guest is Jesse Taylor. Jesse Taylor was cut from The Ultimate Fighter season 7, but later came back to win season 25 Redemption. He joins us today to talk about redemption, growth, and the lessons from 18 years of the fight game. Check it out. What's up, Jesse? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm in actually a real good spot right now.
It
Yeah,
looks like you are. I mean, I'm following you on
right,
Instagram, and it seems like you're in a good spot.
right,
I wanted to ask, we were supposed to link up like 60 days earlier, right?
yeah,
We I waited for you. I didn't see your connection. You didn't show up. Next
right,
thing I see 60 days later,
yeah,
you posted a picture of you in San Diego jail jumpers
yeah,
working, right? So
yeah.
what happened in between there?
So full transparency, and I think you know, I'm in a good spot now. But my life, I won the redemption, and now I'm kind of having a real life redemption. I had some past illegal trouble. Little things kind of just kept coming up. I had an old vandalism charge and a old DUI charge and I had some issues with my ex, a restraining order violation charge, probation violation charge. So I had a bunch of little, life kind of happened and all these things came to a head. And I think the judge just did not like me. She wanted to make an example out of me. Um, and to her credit, she did. I was kind of thinking I was kind of above the law. I didn't think she was going to throw me in jail for this stuff. I had some things in store. But Nick, everything happens for a reason, and this judge saved my life. This judge, I want to thank this judge. So anyway, she ended up throwing me into the slammer, into East Mesa reentry facility for these charges. I did not expect. She kind of threw the book at me, so I got 60 days. She wanted me to do, and after the 60 days, she wanted me to do a program, a rehab program, where I'm actually here at the program currently. Um, but a lot of things came to light here. I'm learning the principles of AA. I'm learning sobriety that I've kind of always had a substance abuse issue in my career. This is complete honesty here, and uh, I'm sober now though, and I'm learning some of the things I've done, and it was all because of substance issues and alcoholism and addiction, and that judge saved my life. I mean, it sucked. I didn't think she maybe should have done that, throw the book at me, but maybe she saw something I didn't see. Maybe God had other plans for me, but I have this new purpose here, Nick, this new beginning. And just like I have done many times in my fight career, I kind of have a real life redemption here. And it kind of restarted the fire. I have this fight now. And I want to continue my fighting career as well. I finished my career right, but I have a message now. I have a purpose. I know what God is calling me for. And, maybe that's my purpose to show that, hey, I'm a human being. I fuck up. I mess up quite a bit, actually. Um, I think I'm a good person, but I've made some errors along the way, but I'm still standing. And I just want to come back and redeem myself and help other broken people like myself and give that message that we could, come back from anything in life. But here I am,
Yeah.
fresh out of jail, and I'm in a rehab program that here in Escondido. And as crazy and hard as it seems, I'm in a really good mental and spiritually place right now. I'm learning a lot about my issues and my addiction and my alcoholism, and I just want to preach the good word now and send a good message and be here for anyone that struggled. And I want to come back. I want to at least make a run to try to come back for the UFC at my age. All the shit I've been through, I get it. But I know my purpose. I know what God's calling me to do, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Where do you think your struggle comes from? Where, like, you said you keep uh having shortcomings or you know
Yeah,
messing up or whatever. Where what do you think that is? Do
yeah.
you think everybody has that?
You should come work here, man. You're like all the therapists I talk to down here.
Really?
Hey, we're trying to figure that out right now. Um,
That's
I think shit. I don't know where it comes from. I guess we're trying to figure it out. Maybe I had past trauma. Maybe I have some demons. Who knows? I'm trying to figure it out. I think a lot of the trouble comes from uh I've had some, relationship instability. Um, that's accompanied me here, but it's hard to pinpoint where exactly it comes from. I was raised in a great upbringing. I had two loving parents. I had a brother, lived from Poway, California. Here in San Diego, I had a very normal, good upbringing. I think I've always kind of been a hyperactive kid. I've always, I'm a risk taker. I like risk, and I think some of that risk slowly got me in trouble. I'm a fighter, obviously, so I like that adrenaline rush. I like that extreme sports. I like pushing myself to the extreme and doing maybe questionable things sometimes. And I think that kind of led into, alcohol and other substances later in my uh, life. But I tell you what, a good question lately is fighting's always been my outlet, my total outlet,
Mm,
something that I relied on to, it was wrestling. It saved my life as a kid. I was kind of a lost, wild kid, and wrestling, kind of gave me direction. And then it was fighting for the last almost 20 years. It was my direction. And my career started slowing down. And, I kind of ventured into, instead of fighting and training, I started getting into alcohol and drugs. That was my new outlet. And
mm,
so I kind of got content. You can't be content in life. I think this goes for anyone. I got to always be going for my goals. And once I don't have a goal on the horizon, or after I won Ultimate Fighter the second time, I should have won it the first time. I think I got complacent and I got content, and I'm like, oh, I can have a drink, and then that drink turned into two drinks. Those two drinks turned into 12 drinks. Once a week turned into twice a week. Twice a week turned into every other day, and the problem just kept escalating.
mm. Were you always like that as a boy? Like what it was your parents say when you were a child? Like how were you?
Yeah, I was a hyperactive kid, ADD for sure. I had a lot of energy, a lot of spirit, always like all in, full speed ahead. That's kind of how it was, we're playing a game. I'm going to be 100% competitive. Um, I've always kind of had that part of my nature. Harmless kid. I'm a very sweet person, very nice to everyone, and very respectful. But I could get carried away, with just my energy, and my energy could get me in trouble, I think. And I wouldn't say I was a hellraiser. I would just say I did some questionable decisions. I didn't always make the best decisions for sure.
Hmm. And how were you? Were your parents? Did they reprimand you? Did they? How did they handle that?
Oh yeah, I got reprimanded. I got grounded. I I got in trouble. I saw a psychologist as a kid. Um,
Wow.
Saw therapy. They were great parents. I had, but what always helped me as a kid to this day was having the sports, having an outlet. I could kind
Yep.
of get everything out. Um, I can't pinpoint it really because I was raised in a good family, and I'm sure I had some things, and like all families do, but
Sure.
nothing out of the ordinary. I think it's just I think there is a destiny and a purpose, and I think for whatever reason though, I'm supposed to kind of struggle. I'm supposed to have kind of a hard life, a tough life, and show the world and show people how to overcome it, and that 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 I'm a regular person that's fallen, but I could do some great things as well. And I think that's kind of my mission that I could do the impossible, but I've also struggled with the possible, So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard to pinpoint exactly where it went wrong, but kind of I've done a lot of right too. So where it went right or where it went wrong, I guess that's the philosophical question, And uh, but here I am, still standing, and just want to fulfill my destiny, that my calling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strange how we all deal with things. I mean, just to share with you my upbringing, my brother bullied the crap out of me, like pretty bad. And I think that led to me being bullied in high school as well. So I have like a streak of like, just wanting to fight in me. And I think that it always comes back. Like all my bullies from high school come back when I go and I train, and I know that happened for a while, but you fight through it and you think through it and it starts to subside. You start realizing what it is. Like, that's my demon.
Yeah, and it's funny to say, I like a lot of fighters, a lot of good fighters. I was bullied pretty bad too. There's one bully. I got along with everyone. There was one bad bully, and then my dad. I don't want to throw him. My dad was he was kind of hard, a little overbearing. Didn't like it wasn't abused or anything, but really hard. Rode my coattails. Rode me pretty hard. Um, and I had some little things with family, alcoholism and addiction stuff with other family members. Um, but like I said, it's kind of hard to pinpoint. But I relate with you with the bullies things. I never really got over that. I think a lot of us, a lot of top fighters have had that, and always someone kind of to prove.
Yep.
Uh, but and that's the hardest thing here is I'm learning. Today's message was acceptance. So it's funny, just accepting everything how it is. And,
Mm.
uh, I guess it's learning those demons, and it's hard to accept them, and hard to
Well,
think
you got to
about.
know what to accept. Like
Exactly,
you
yeah,
can't accept something if you don't know what it is or if you're not aware of what it is, right?
exactly, yeah,
So
yeah.
when did you start getting into trouble?
Since I was a kid, I mean, it was always harmless little things like uh, I I took a candy bar from the store and I ate it. I remember as a kid, and my dad was like, What are you doing?" I was just eating the candy bar. Like I didn't know. Um, kind of learning from my mistakes. It was a
What
struggle.
what sorry to cut you off. How did you make sense of that? Like just stealing a candy bar? Cuz
Yeah, I didn't
I feel like those deep.
I didn't think anything of it. I just did it, and I never thought I just didn't think it was wrong. I learned then not to steal candy bars. Maybe I just wasn't taught that. I just have a very faint. I had to be like 3 years old, and like I didn't know. I just didn't know. Um, But then that was one of the first times we got in trouble. The little things like I couldn't keep still in school, I was disrupting the class. I was messing around, goofing off, the class clown, joking around, wanting to make people laugh. I've been a person pleaser. I wanted to always please people,
Mm,
and I would do at great lengths. I would do things to please people,
I
and
relate to that.
good or bad. And I think it helped for fighting because I wanted to please everyone. I wanted to
Yeah.
be the star. I wanted to be the champion. But it also got me a lot of trouble on the way. And then when I get older, that demons followed me. Like going to bars and being the guy everyone loves and being, oh, there's JT. And it's a good question. I just actually realized that yeah, I think being that person that's always in the limelight, the star, and I relished on that. I think and. But yeah, it would get me in trouble as a kid. I was the class clown or goofing off or couldn't keep still or getting, a mischievous trouble, like stupid little things like, you know, climbing the fence, breaking into high school when I was young and running around and just doing just wild kid things kind of, playing by the train tracks and stuff, like little stuff like that. Like we put pennies on these train tracks one time and the police came, me and my friends, and um, toilet papering houses and I would take it too far. I'd just be keeping toilet papering like all around the house and in the backyard and just take it like next level. Um, so mixed with the, always trying to be in the limelight and always that one speed, I'm like 100% type of guy. I think it could be really good, but it could also be really bad. I've seen the both of what happens.
Yeah, man, there's so much to pinpoint there. Like I get the mischievous. Like, yeah, all kids, like especially boys, they're all mischievous. I've done a lot of that stuff too. I guess I wonder like like we went corning when we were little, so we would throw just handfuls of corn at cars, like hard pellets of corn.
Yeah.
But taking it further, like you'd have to do the whole house. I wonder like what was that like a decision you made? Like, oh, I'm gonna take this way farther
I,
than anybody.
I think it's I think it's just my nature. Which could be real good. Like, I could be the hero or I could be the villain. And I guess I just wanted to win at all costs, kind of to do it at all, to get the mission done and to go above and beyond the mission, kind of. And I've done that for good things in my life, and I've done it for bad things in my life. So I think it's one of those kind of things.
Well, was the intention to be the villain? Was that your intention?
No, no, my intention was to have the most fun, to do the best job with my friends, and at the
Yeah,
time, I would be like, "Oh, wow, look what Jesse did," like
yeah,
you get that notoriety, you get that attention for sure.
yeah. So I think that's probably important. Like you're not being the villain. Like, you said to be the hero, to be the villain, but I don't think your intention's ever to be the villain. I mean, at least that's what I've seen.
Right. No, no. I just think it kind of led me to stuff like that. But I've never ever, I'm not an evil person. I've never wanted to be the villain. No way. I've always wanted to be.
Yeah.
But it's costed me on accident or happenstance to be the villain. But
Yeah.
never wanted to be the villain in anything.
Yeah. Another thing I was gonna touch on is like I feel like at a young age, like whether it be high school or when you're a kid, you the defining things that happen to you then form a message that you received from that. What do you think the message is that you've received from, either being the kid who couldn't sit still or being the class clown or people like Jesse when he's
So,
wild and
so what resonates to me right away is I've been thinking about this. I'm the guy who could do like impossible things. Just like I won the Ultimate Fighter 25, just like I should have won Ultimate Fighter 7, just like I traveled the world and beat all sorts of guys I never should have beat. I'm the guy who could do some fucking amazing things, who makes that one-handed catch in the fucking football. I've done that on the sports field. But I'm also the guy who throw it right to me, or it's very simple and I'm going to drop the ball, or I'm going to mess up. So it's a weird thing with me, I think. And I think that's what makes me a peculiar case and why people are interested in me and my story. It's like I could do the impossible. I could come back from this, and I will come back from this and show the world. I mark my words, but it's just I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint that too. I guess I could do some pretty amazing things, and I could fuck up some really basic things. Like I could do some things no one else could do, but I could do some things which any common person could do. So it's like that up and down, high, low.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of my story. It's weird. I think I'm like the average Joe that could do amazing things, but just sometimes could fumble the ball right before you get into the end zone. Like when the guy's running, you ever see those plays? He does some amazing play, then right before he gets to the end zone, he drops the ball. That's kind of me. But then he can also intercept it from one end zone, the other side, and run all the way back and break 25 tackles and do
Yeah.
so.
So is it you overanalyzing it when you're like say when you're handed the ball and you're right on the five-yard line and you're about to make the touchdown? Is it like, do you start overanalyzing it? Like, I have the football, I'm gonna drop it, I better not drop it, or what? Do you do that, or are you unaware that
It could
you're
be
about to?
aware, but I have that too. Sometimes I think too much. When I just go with the flow and just trust myself, I do really good. And I've done that in my fight career too. When I kind of second guess myself and think about it too much, for sure. I even had a thing, which fighting's pretty symbolic of life. But I don't watch opponent videos. I don't watch my videos of my opponents. I never always got in my head too much. I do best when
Mm,
my coaches watch a little bit, kind of tell me what to do, and I go out there and do me, and
mm-hmm.
I perform my best. And I think I'm the same way in life. I just go with it. When I kind of second guess myself and question myself is when it goes wrong for sure.
Mm. I'm gonna quote you. There's something that you said on Tough season 7 that was first off, watching season 7, instant fan. I was an instant fan years. I was like, dude, this guy, there's something so grounded about you and so sincere and genuine. You are genuinely a nice guy. And I could tell you just wanted to be there to win, right? And
Yeah,
and then you said something. You said a lot of times in my life I could have been a lot better at something and I just squandered the experience.
yeah, yeah. She
And
said that, yeah.
and then at the end of season 7, you had that experience. Do you feel like that was like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or do you feel like that's like, oh man, I've done that too much in my life?
I think both what you just said. That's pretty ironic. I said that, I didn't realize it, but yeah, I think both. I think that's happened in my life. I got it right in my hands and I drop it, and a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why coming back season 25. And again, I got to analyze it. For whatever reason, I trusted myself. I knew I was going to win. I went with that natural rhythm of the universe, and I just did it. But yeah, I think what you said that first time around, I nailed it. uh, yeah, I self-fulfilling prophecy, and kind of that's what I do. But at the same time, it's not always what I do. I've had great moments of pure bliss and pure heroism and pure uh, comebacks and things that I never thought I could do, that let alone anyone could do. I've
Hmm.
had those moments too, so it's a really dichotomy, a really a weird hit, mixed bag, I guess you get with me. I'm escaping. The word's escaping me, but yeah, uh, it's like a very odd mixture of both, of the really good stuff and really bad stuff.
Well, it almost seems like you're saying you there's all this good that you do, and then like right at the end, this is what I'm gathering from what you're saying.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but right at the end when it's like you could win the game, something you mess it up
So
somehow.
I agree with you, but not always. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've had many times where I've won the game, and I've won the
Yep.
fights that I'm supposed to win. So I would agree that yeah, it's like I'm hopefully getting more into 60-70% of the other way, but I'd say
Hmm.
yeah, half the time for a lot of my life and stuff, it's maybe even less than half the time, but it's definitely yeah happened like that. But I've also had times where I wasn't supposed to win, that I was the dark horse, that there's no way. So it's like almost like I relish being the bad guy, or I do better, like the situation I'm in now. It's like I almost thrive on these situations, and I
Proving
need
people wrong.
to come back and win and show that I could do it. But I think you nailed it in one area, but then I have a completely other side where when my back's against the wall, I've always been literally my back's against the wall right now, which is funny. But when my back's against the wall is when I fight my best, um,
Yeah.
in a lot of areas of my life. And I don't know why that is. I think it goes back to what I told you in the beginning, why I started fucking up, getting in trouble again. I won the Ultimate Fighter, recently, or shit, not recently now, but 2017, 18, and I got content again. And whenever I'm content in my life, and wherever I'm not striving for goals, I think that this does relate with people that I squander, I mess up. I always got to be pushing, pushing, going for goals. And I almost need my back against the wall for whatever reason. I gotta have a struggle. Whatever reason, I need that fire. I need that struggle.
What do you want right now in life? Because obviously it changes throughout your whole entire life, right? Like I'm sure.
That's a great question, Nick. What I want now, honestly, I want success. I want my family. I want my kids. I love my children so much. I just had a daughter. She's 5 now. My two oldest boys are 21 and 16. I just want to be a great father. I want to be successful in my professional career. I want to do the right thing. I want a stable relationship that doesn't always end in disaster. Um, and as bad as this time in my life seems right now, I'm learning some tools I just never had. I learned a great deal, and I think all the times I messed up, maybe that's my purpose, is to show people that you can learn, that you can get better, that you can make mistakes and learn. Life's a learning lesson, anyways, and
Hmm.
I'm an example of a learning lesson, I think. So I think I just I want a normal, happy, successful, professional, and family life.
Uh, you mentioned you want stable relationships. What are there some unstable relationships or that you have or in the past or
Yeah, man.
what happened?
I've struggled. I seem to meet these beautiful women somehow. This ugly face meets these beautiful women, and head over heels in love, like like Romeo and Juliet, like love, 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 love. And like the girls never loved me so much, and I never loved her so much. This is a common theme in my life. And then for whatever, well, I'm learning the reasons. A lot of times, alcohol or other issues. And anyways, they end in disaster. And it happened with my son's mom. It happened with my daughter's mom. Most recently, I met this beautiful girl. I thought, I'm older now. I'm ready to settle down finally. I loved her, and it pretty much ended in disaster. To make it hard as it is, I loved her so much, and I felt, when I was in jail, no less, she stuck with me the whole time. And the last week in jail, she kind of wanted to move on and see other people. Um,
Mm.
but it's like the blows keep coming, but I just know that that's my purpose, man. And, I gotta just keep rolling the punches, and just like ears, scar tissue. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think I'm an example of that as well. I mean, you can look at the bad for sure, but you can also say like, hey, this guy can take a lot and keep coming. And I just want to learn from my mistakes now, um, get stronger, use this as fuel for my professional career. But it would be nice to have a stable relationship and for it not to end in disaster, and yeah, figure it all out.
Do you feel like you're worthy of love?
We worked on that in some of the therapies. Yeah, that I'm worthy of love and love and respect. And I think down deep at times I didn't. I really didn't.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I always had to fight for it. When like going back to the same thing, when things are too good and I'm too content, I want to find a way to just fuck it up. Like it's not supposed to be like that. And I don't know. Maybe there's some trauma in there that I got to get to the bottom of. Um, but I really don't understand why I had it. And to this girl's credit, I've seen recently when I really think about it, it was all my undoing. You know, I could blame her and say, "Oh, she left me for," but I was in jail. Who wants to be with someone who's in jail? And
Mm.
before I left to jail, we were getting into it bad. We were fighting, and she had her issues, but the one who started it all was me. And I'm learning to accept that and to take full blame, full responsibility. My things. This is back in January. I did the dry January, and it was perfect. I even looked up to God and said, "Wow, this relationship's so perfect." Literally, February happened. I took the first sip of alcohol. I didn't have a fight or anything coming up. That's why I need those goals. And I literally went off the rails down the very first drink of alcohol. Like I made a fool of myself, she had like some business party, and I made a fool of myself at the party. And it just got worse and worse. Like I'd be at the house, I'd be stressed out with her. She has kids too. And I would leave. I'd say, hey, I'll be right back. And I'd be out all night. I was always loyal to her. I have really good moral fibers. I just do questionable things. Like hanging out with losers all night, guys, still, but not cheating or anything, but I'd just be hanging out till 4 or 5, 6 in the morning. Like, why
Mm.
wouldn't I just come home to my girl who loves me? And I wonder, well, oh, why does she hate me so much? And I go, oh, well, that's why she hates me, because I go do crazy shit like that. And it's hard to be in a relationship with anyone like that. So it's just learning and accepting myself and I think a big issue with me is just staying away from the bottle, staying away from drinking. I'm a really good person sober, and for whatever reason, when the drinking comes in, all those demons we talked about, they come right out. What you see, I think, like you nailed it. I'm pretty raw, what you see is what you get,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
it's good or bad. I'm pretty genuine, but like I said, what you see is what you get, and alcohol is what just exploits that more.
Well, I think that's why I mean, me just seeing you, like I felt like, oh, I could trust this guy, like I could definitely trust you. I could talk to you about things and you'll be open about it and
Definitely, 100%.
you, yeah. So, I mean, that's a really attractive quality to have, right? Like people want to be around people that they feel are trustworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, one thing I was thinking about is I wonder if you actually self-sabotage because you're
Oh yeah.
the fear of whatever losing or the fear of not being accepted or not being loved.
Yeah. I gotta figure that out. I mean, I've struggled with that self-destructing, self-sabotaging. My biggest enemy, I face so much beast in the ring, it's myself. And even those
Hmm.
fights, some of these fights, you see my record, 40, they don't count the tough, but it's 40 wins, 17 losses. Every one of those losses, and I know there's some tough ass fools, and I'm not trying to take away credit from them, but they're all fights I could have won. And it's not lying or saying that. It's like I literally give up in there, or I just wasn't feeling it, some mental shit. And then I would beat guys I wasn't supposed to beat. And I think for whatever reason, it's a self-destructive thing for sure. And I think we all have that. minds like for the whole world to see. But it's learning how to deal with that. And I shouldn't say that. There are some people who don't have that as well. Um, but yeah, it's a self-destructive. When things are so good, I just want to ruin it for some reason. And yeah, maybe down deep, I don't feel loved, or I don't feel that I should be there for whatever reason.
Do you self isolate?
I I do. I do. I even did the rehab way in the corner. I self isolate before fights. I self isolate a lot, and yeah, I'm very social, as you can tell, but I love my alone time. I need my alone time. There's a guy
Sure.
in here I took under my ring. I want to give back. Part of recovery is giving back because it helps people. But it's like I need my alone time. I can't be around. I gotta have my alone time. It's very, very important to me. And I think in relationships, the women get confused about that as well because I don't really vocalize that. But I need if I and then I self-destruct. If I don't get that alone time, it's like boom, that's a great question to make me realize. And I definitely need my isolation and my alone time. But I
But
also
what,
need that
how,
time too.
you also what? Sorry.
I need that feeling. I need that one-on-one time. I just think about this last relation. I need someone. I don't want to sound like but I need to feel loved. I need the woman to sit me down and say, "Hey, I love you." Like, when I would go on these benders when I was crazy, it's like, I'm not trying to say, but I wish sometimes they just sat me down and said, "Hey, you don't have to do this. I love you." You know, I've always would have liked that. I think a lot of people like that. And yeah, for sure.
Well, I see you posted a lot about God.
I love God. Hey, God's always there for us. God's
Well,
always there.
I'm saying when you need somebody to sit you down and tell you I love you.
No, thank you. Yeah. Well,
That's
and I'm learning that. And that's in the past. I'm not, I think I'm rounding the corner here, Nick. I really do, I'm learning some great stuff in here and to let God take control because God, it will always be there and God will always love you. And you're always loved, always.
have you ever read the book or heard about the book Fathered by God?
I haven't.
It's a good one. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I would like that, Nick.
Um, so let me go back to self isolating because I literally just heard I'm probably not gonna say this as well as he did, but I just heard the pastor today at church talk about this.
Oh, it's good for you.
Yeah, he said there's two differences with or not self isolating, but you could be isolating to seek solace, right? Where you just need time to yourself to kind of recharge your batteries. And then there's an isolation where you think you don't deserve love. You start thinking you're the only one. I'm the only one that goes through this. I'm the only one that's having this problem. I'm the only one that's making these mistakes, right? And then you start treating other people differently because you're in this self I don't want to call it self-absorbent because I just think it's you're believing a lie.
I think I think you nailed it right there, Nick. I couldn't say it both. I see both things you're saying. Sometimes I need it for peace, tranquility, and God, all that good stuff. And
Yep.
sometimes I get into my own head and I'm believing a lie 100%. And I think the world's against me and this. And it's like that poor me attitude. And as strong as I am, I sometimes go there. And it's like, dude, suck it up. It's not poor me. Like I'm fine. This girl loves you. You're loved. Things are good. And it's like a whole self-destructive thing in my head. And like I said, I'm figuring out some amazing things here in this program, and I'll be a better man for it. And God's definitely going to have a big part of my life and checking into myself too. I got to always do that self-maintenance, therapy,
Mm-hmm.
A meetings, God in my life. Because whenever I stray away from that, I fuck up. I mess up. When I won Ultimate Fighter, it's not rocket science. You know why I won the second time? I was going to meetings. I had God in my life.
Mm.
I had that spiritual aspect. And then guess what happens? I win the Ultimate Fighter. This is with a lot of fights and stories in my life. I win something huge, and I kind of, oh, I don't need that. I could go out and party, or I don't need the relationship with God as much. I don't need the meetings. I don't need the self-help stuff. And right when I get away from that, like immediately, like boom, I start getting in trouble. And I go, huh, I
Mm.
wonder. And finally, now thinking about the last 20 years of doing this, I'm like, well, the answer is right in front of me. I gotta, even when I leave here, I want to be constant maintenance for myself, constant treatment, because I'm just one of those people. I think I just need that. I think a lot of humans need that.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget constantly. I'll learn something and then I'll be like, "Oh, I got to remember that." Next week I mess it up because I forgot. So you got to keep telling yourself. What there's something really cool happened to me when I was like in my 20s. I could care less about. I shouldn't say I loved my neighbors. They were right across the street from me. And I remember one day my neighbor just came to my house, knocked on my door, and just handed me her baby. And I'm in my 20s, so I was probably like out bartending or drinking the night before. And I'm like, I don't feel ready to hold a brand new baby. But she told me something interesting. She said, I became a mother wolf, and I was like hoarding my baby so no one would touch it, and I didn't want anybody to touch. I wouldn't even let my own mom touch it, she said. And she's like, my therapist said, I need to just hand it to somebody, my baby to somebody. So kind of what it taught me, I don't know if you can correlate these two, but when I start going in my own head of like, poor me, or, uh, I messed up again, or this or that, I just go help somebody out. I just go do
Yeah.
something nice for somebody
You
to
know,
get
Nick.
my mind off of myself.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm learning that right now. That's why this guy took under my wing here, and I need to do that. You got to give back. You have to. That's a huge part of recovery you talk about.
Mm.
I got to get out of myself. I could be a selfish person. I 100% could. And
Well, we
I
all
got
can.
others. I got to give it to others. I got to be there for others because whenever I get away from that too, I get into myself and I kind of self-destruct. The wording's right there. Um, and that's going to be a huge part of the service. You got to give service to others, and that's kind of my calling. I've always had that. I've kind of shied away from that, but that's what I want to do. I want to fight again after this, but I want to start a gym, and I'm not doing it for myself. I want to be of service to others because martial arts, and I have a lot to offer to help people. I could give them my story. Be like, hey, this is what happens when you don't do this. This is what happens when you walk the wrong path in life, and I could give that back and also teach people MMA, martial arts, because it rises people, makes people's self-esteem. They feel better about themselves,
Yep.
and it feels really good helping people. And I'm going to need to do that constantly in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I forget what I was going to say, but that's really awesome. Um, do you ever go back and watch your episodes?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, too much sometimes. I haven't lately in a little bit, but I definitely have and do. Uh, yeah, and there's some things I like and some things I don't really like, obviously, but I do. It's been a little bit, but I do.
And you still watch the tough parts?
I watch it. The tough parts are hard. Like season 7, um, when they showed me getting drunk and stuff, And but by the way, it was only one night. They made it seem like every night, but still,
Yeah.
I didn't like seeing that part. I like seeing all the other parts. I didn't like seeing that part. I didn't like seeing the removal at the end of the show when Dana White removed me. Yeah, I did not. I didn't want my kids to see. I didn't like seeing that part. Um, but yeah, of course I don't like the tough parts, but every other part of both seasons I enjoyed because there were some goofy parts, but innocent goofy, But when I'm real in that self-destructive state, yeah, I don't like seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, do you ever go back just to analyze like what I could have done better, or not fighting, but I'm talking
Yeah,
about on the show, and then watching those tough spots and just like locking in like
yeah, I do, but even the second season, I don't regret a thing. I thought I could show
yeah.
myself pretty good light, but yeah, that first season. But saying that too, it was tough, but it taught me a great lesson of what I don't want to be like, and um, it taught me what I could change, and it's weird too because I messed up so bad, but then the second time around, I ended up winning more money than anyone from any of the seasons, and it ended up working out in my favor, but. Yeah, it's like I don't like watching it, but I have to watch it to remind myself of what I don't want to be like.
Yeah, well, I saw the one it was crazy that you seemed like you were trying to stay out of the mess, right? For the whole season. And then when everybody destroyed the house one night, how much involvement did you have and what were the repercussions from that?
Oh yeah, so that's kind of my issue. I could be a real leader, usually a leader, but when I have, I'm like the common man. I have like times where I could do some heroic leadership things, and times where I follow the crowd and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of my purpose to show that I'm a regular person. But yeah, I got sucked into season 7. We kind of destroyed the house a little bit. But again, that's something I learned because that second season, I did my best to be and I was sober. I was with God that second, and I did my best to show by example that I'm not that person anymore, that I am a leader, that I am a good person. And I learned by example. I'm going to run to my place to put this on the charger, but we can keep talking. But yeah, I definitely learned.
All right. So, just to let people know, Jesse had some technical difficulties. Then you had a meeting.
Yeah,
So,
sorry. I had a meeting with some technical difficulties, but round 2.
round two, exactly. Redemption.
Redemption, always redemption. Round 2.
Yeah. So, what was the meeting?
So we got a bunch of meetings here, they're real God-based too. You'd actually like them, Nick. But they got like group therapy meetings all day, therapy stuff, clinical groups. So keeps you quite busy. If you take it seriously, you could definitely leave here a changed man.
That that's interesting. How do you ever find that like when you learn something, you have a hard time holding on to that? Like it's a fleeting thought, right? Like you
Yeah,
forget a week later or whatever, and you're like, man, what was that I learned?
yeah. If I'm not into it, oh yeah. But
Mm,
I think if I like something, if I'm into it, I could be like Albert Einstein. Like
yeah.
I said, top 7, I'm the Albert Einstein of poetry. But I could be really into it if I like it. But if not, it's hard. But it's funny. A lot of the stuff we were talking about, ironically, in the group sessions and therapy, we're talking about the same shit. So it's very interesting. Like figuring out kind of we were left off, like figuring out why I do what I do. We're kind of touching base about that, and yeah, it's just really interesting.
Did you figure anything out? Did
I
you
mean,
come
I
to
figured
any
out something.
conclusions?
I know I attach a lot of things to my achievements, my self-worth to like achievements, and that's not really healthy. I'm more than just a UFC fighter. I'm more than just
Mm,
a fighter champ. Um, yeah, and kind of always coming back. Like I relish coming back. So it's almost like I want the self-destruction maybe, but like the bottom I hit recently, it's like yeah, I don't want it anymore. It's like I gotta learn to be content with myself and happy with myself, just how I am, and that things can go good. They don't always have to be bad, and we're getting to it. We're scratching the surface, but we're getting to, where my issues kind of come from, yeah. Which
yeah,
is,
that's great. Yeah, it's crazy. I was kind of thinking like just right before you came on. You said you're gonna get back in the UFC. I think you posted that.
I this is my plan, bro. I wanna I probably gotta fight a fight or two, and Dana will I know Dana, he doesn't like old dudes. He's very professional.
Yep.
But if he sees I have skill and he sees what I'm doing, I know he'll give me a shot on the contenders, the contenders show. Who knows? Maybe I think that's more my route. I could do maybe if they have another Ultimate Fighter reality show, but he will give me a chance that way. He won't just sign me in UFC because
Mm-hmm.
Dana's kind of Dana. He's kind of cutthroat. Doesn't like older guys. But I think if he sees, I just think he likes money and he likes business. And
Mm-hmm.
if I look good, it's just a great story. I've had a lot of comebacks, and if I could finish my career like this, like one last comeback on top it's like a Rudy story. I think it's more than Rudy, and real life Rocky Balboa kind of. I could just get back, win the contenders, win a fight, get on the contenders show or the Ultimate Fighter, win that fight, and get just one more fight in UFC. Ah, man, it'll be like a dream come true. It's just like bittersweet. I'd be tears of
Mm-hmm.
falling, just, but I'd have to win that contenders, win the fight, win the contenders fight, just fight once in the UFC, get my hand raised, and I'll walk away. I walk away.
And then what?
That's a good question. I mean, here I'm learning kind of one day at a time stuff, but there's so
Yeah.
much I can do. I'm learning. I was doing some construction. It's not. I gotta follow my passion. I think too. I got in trouble again. I wasn't doing what I love. I got to do what I love in life, and it'd probably be the personal training and coaching, but opening up a gym. But I really want to create a program. Um, a fitness-based program like MMA movements. Like you're still gonna be learning fighting. Women can do it, men can do it. Like think calisthenics, but like MMA calisthenics. You're doing like grappling drills and boxing drills with just the movements, and it's a great workout. And anyone could do it, and you
Mm-hmm.
still get that fighter look, just body weight stuff, nothing. Just your body. That's all you need. I could do this at parks. I could do this at gyms. It's very raw and organic, and no one really does that.
Yep.
Just create a program. It's like those old school jujitsu guys kind of did it with the Gracies, like back in the day, all that movement, all those movement patterns. And I just want to do an hour class, and I could do different muscle parts on different days, and I want to go for that. And then I also want to kind of up your alley. In jail, they actually offer this because they wanted me to do. They'll pay me to learn how to public speak better and motivational speak. And I go to the jails and I could help inmates, people like me who have struggled.
Mm.
I do like a motivational talk, and I want to parlay that into schools and maybe businesses. Who knows? Maybe a TED talk. But I think if I do the fighting with this, it makes for a great story, and it kind of leads into the motivational speaking. Um, so that's one of the goals of mine. Yeah,
That's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people could benefit from fighting, but I think a lot of people are afraid of the unknown, right? They're afraid of like what fighting looks like. Like, oh, I'm going to step into a gym and somebody's going to just take my head off.
right,
I think a lot of people are afraid of that. But then when you step into the right gym and you feel comfortable, you feel safe,
right.
man, that's where growth happens.
Growth. Yeah. And believe it or not, what I'm leaning towards, of course, fighting's in my blood, and I want to teach jujitsu and real Muay Thai, fighting for sure. But I'm looking at it as more a fitness
Yeah.
approach. Get
Yeah,
people
no,
into
that's
some
great.
great shape, and they're not. It's not going to be crazy hands on, but it's drills they could do on themselves. Once they learn the movement patterns and what I could do, there's stuff I could do themselves, and but having a teacher and instructor there. Uh, Imagine like one of those cardio kickboxing classes, but way more intense.
Yep.
Way more real, where they're actually learning some stuff too and learning the correct mechanics, and they're getting a tremendous workout. I want to create a program kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, you just said something interesting. You said fighting's in my blood. Do you really feel like you were born with that, or do you feel like, that was one question I wanted to ask is when did you find fighting? When was it like this is what I want to do? Because I know it emulated from wrestling, correct?
For sure, but I do believe we all have a purpose. Like that book you kind of gave me, I was looking at, it looks great. I and when I write my book, that's one of the other things. I want to write my book. I want to write my autobiographical. The one of my first memories was a fight. I was 3 years old, 4 years old, and the neighbor was squirting me in the face with a water gun in the eyes, and I just had immense rage, and I ran after him. I hit him, and he hit me in the nose, and my nose like bled and was watering, and I just raged. This was my first memories was fighting. His name was Bobby
Mm.
Burns, and I fought him outside my house. My mom ran out, my mom ran out and broke it up, but I was one of my very first memories fighting. Um, Always been a nice guy, but fighting was always been gravitated towards it. And I grew up. I remember a bunch of fights in elementary school. I fought this kind of bully kid in the fourth grade, and I didn't always win, but I always fought. I always came back. So I think it's a little combination. I think it's just kind of my destiny. What God, this is my purpose, and my very first memory was of fighting, and I think my parents weren't fighters or anything, but I think in the bloodline, like the DNA stuff, I do believe there's some distant warrior lineage that's just kind of in me. Some people just have it in them. I just gravitated towards fighting, and I had that just shit. You mess with me, you're gonna get in a fight with me, kind of. I've just it naturally would come out, and then I got into wrestling later in life, in high school, and it was just such a great. It was very natural. Like, and even in wrestling, I lost. I was really athletic. I was good at basketball, football, baseball. In wrestling, I got my ass kicked, and I was
Mm.
so upset. I was so mad. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how did I lose? And I came up next and got my ass kicked. And I just kept coming, Nick. And then eventually I started winning, and I loved it. And like the challenge, like that's kind of like the whole talk we've had. That it's like I need the challenge. I need to fight uphill. I need to do something I can't do almost. And it's like I got, and then I fell in love with wrestling, and wrestling became a total outlet for me. It was just part of my soul and DNA, and it helped me out, helped me get through high school, helped me get through college, and ended up being my career with fighting. And I could just, I needed wrestling. And then even my first fight, I tell you how I got into fighting. Just to sum up the story, I was training, I was a wrestler, and I had no idea of fighting. I was just kind of training to train to stay in shape. And the fighters, this is back in the day, 2004 or 5, um, like Dan Henderson, they needed help. They needed a wrestler. So I was just going there to work out because I was seeing my son on the weekends in San Diego, driving from Fullerton to San Diego. I wrestled there, and Indian guy, a Native American, he asked me, "Hey, you want to fight on the reservation?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm just a wrestler. I'm just like really in shape, and I like this wrestling fools. I'm not really a fighter." And he goes, "You get $1,000." I thought about it. I'm like, that would be a really cool story, a cool adventure. And I trained for like a week or two, and I did the fight. I won a decision, tough fight. I had to fight like a veteran guy that flew him in from Hungary, way bigger than me. It was back in the day, and I loved it, bro. It was like, I mean, I hate to say it, was like, to me, it was like sex. It was like incredible. It was like something I've never experienced. I fought before, but never like a real fight, a professional. And it was a calling from God. I'm like, well, this is what I'm going to do for the next 20 years now. But I never had
Wow.
the intention of being a fighter. So that's what I mean. It's into my blood or DNA or my calling or, you know.
Where'd you meet this guy?
I was training with him. I was training with him at Team Quest. His name was Johnny Hughes. Ironically, his gym is right by the rehab program I'm at right now. I'll probably start training there again at his gym. He has a couple guys, Robbie Peralta, Derek Anderson, fought in Bellator. Anyhow, he just was a local guy, training, and he had contacts on the Indian reservation because King of the Cage and those shows were out there. And he just he saw my warrior spirit. He's Indian. I'm all into that stuff. And he saw my warrior spirit, I guess, and asked me for a fight. And I'm like, I just kind of went with it like my whole life, like just a risk, like, it'll be a cool adventure. And I mean, I did the fight. I just loved it, man. It was like a dream. It was like a dream come true. That's what it felt like.
Wow. So
Right.
you don't get nervous going into fights?
I was nervous, and I get nervous, but I love it. I love it. It's like that's why I can't quit it either. It's like I hate it, but I love it. And when I don't do it, I get in trouble. I need that nervous. I need that adrenaline. It's like a rush to me, a natural high.
Yeah. That's crazy. I just remember wrestling and like being on deck and hating it. I hated that feeling.
Yeah, the
Hated
butterfly.
that feeling.
It's weird because I kind of, in a way, I hate it, but in a way, I love it. It's just that weird dichotomy of it. I relish in it. It's like I need it. It's like I feel like something's missing though, and I don't have it.
Hmm. Yeah. Huh. That's interesting.
And- yeah, and that's
So
why, like, even when I wasn't fighting these, I haven't been as busy if you look at my record lately. But I did like nonstop jujitsu and the combat jujitsu and even jujitsu. It is different. It's not like a real fight for sure, but it still gives me those feelings, the wrestling feeling, for sure. That competition feeling. There's nothing like it, and but there's nothing like a fight. There's nothing. It's like the same thing as wrestling, but you can imagine more. So you're getting hit and kicked and
yeah.
choked, and
So
people are watching.
do you prefer stand up striking or do you prefer ground?
Yeah, honestly, I love stand up striking, but I'm a wrestler by heart, man. I come from
Yeah.
wrestling. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm a grappler. I honestly feel like it's kind of underrated. I have real good striking. I just I like to take it down, pound them out, submit them. That's kind of my thing. But again, like with the thing I was talking about challenges, I wouldn't mind doing a boxing fight or doing a Muay Thai fight. It's a little out of my realm, but I love striking too. It's kind of, but I'm a grappler by heart.
Yeah. Did your parents or your brother, did they go to your fights? Did they go to your wrestling matches? Did your dad wrestle or fight?
It's funny. My brother was just texting. My parents, my dad never wrestled. That's why, my brother, he was an athlete, but not like a wrestler family, not one of those families for sure, or fighting really in general. So it was very foreign to them. They weren't exactly supportive, I would say. They're, very traditional family. My dad, it was bittersweet. The only fight my dad's been to was when I won Tough 25. So it meant a lot to me. That
Wow.
only fight he's been to, and he saw me win and that money. But it comes from love. Like he doesn't want to see me. They don't want to see me get hurt. They want me. They come from a very stable, like very normal people. They want a stable job. They didn't really understand it. My brother's a teacher. He teaches English, and they just to this day they love me, but they don't want me to fight anymore. It's they just don't understand it, and they don't understand that warrior, whatever I have, it's innate and I can't help it. It's just who I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, how I wonder how that affected you that if your parents didn't go to your matches or they didn't go to your
No,
wrestling.
they did. They fighting no, but my dad was a huge supporter of wrestling. Oh,
Gotcha.
he loved, but I think he thought I would take the wrestling as a tool, go on to get a college education, get my degree, become a teacher and coach. He's just very traditional in that sense, but he
Yep.
still loved me wrestling because he saw it as an outlet, and he loved the philosophy of wrestling. I don't think he liked the violence of real fighting, the blood, the punching, the kicking, the choking. But my dad was very supportive of my actual wrestling. He was very supportive, so I do. It did mean a lot.
Yeah. Well, I understand the fighting. I mean, even for me, like I didn't get UFC until I started training. You know
Right.
what I mean? Then you
Yeah.
step
A
into
lot
a
of
gym and you start doing Muay Thai, you start like striking and you're like, "Oh, this is way more
right. It's
than
a lot.
just brute
Yeah.
strength."
Right. Yeah. A lot of technique and mental and
Lot of tech. Yeah, it's a chess
mind.
match.
It's not just working out. It's like it's way better because you're like, it's your fight or flight and you gotta learn stuff and you're moving around. You're always learning stuff, which is really cool to me. And
Yep.
it's so dynamic. It's not just lifting weights. It's like a workout plus your mind's working out.
Yeah, and it's resilience.
Resilience. Yeah.
Yeah. So on a which season did you say this on? What one of the tough seasons you said? I think it was season 7 that you said you had 3 more classes till you finished school.
Yeah.
What
Hey,
was what
same thing. I'm still in the same boat. I mean, that's an option for me too. There's so much, this whole experience I'm in right now, there's so much I could do and want to do. But as an addict and alcoholic, you got to take things one step at a time because that could be a trigger for me because I get like anxiety. I want to, do the motivational talking. I want to fight again. I want to do a business. I want to maybe go back to school. And I do want to finish my schooling, but I got to take it one step at a time. But I still got that one class, yeah, one class left in swimming and tennis.
2 questions. What you just brought up, you said as an addict and an alcoholic.
Right.
Is this is th- it, if you're 42, correct?
Correct.
Is this the first time that you've actually said like I'm an addict and an alcoholic, or was that something that you've been
It's
reconciling
so
with?
you nailed a great point, bro. It's the first time I've accepted it. This past
Wow.
this past couple months, it's like it was a big wake up call because I've messed up before and come back. That's like the story of my life: mess up, come back, mess up. How much more of these could I do till I accept it? And I think accepting it is the first step in getting better. And it's like I'm in fucking jail, man. I never thought I'd be going to jail. I messed up, and not this bad. And then now I'm at a rehab. But I like being open and being full transparency with you and everyone because people can learn from it. And I think
Absolutely.
you have to accept it because I won't get better if I don't accept it. I'm like, I'm not here by happenstance, and I haven't messed up all these times in my life over and over for the hell of it. It's because I suffer from addiction and alcoholism. And yeah, it's hard to admit, and I never ever admitted it till recently. At 42,
Mm.
it took me 42 years to finally admit that.
Was it something that was in the back of your head your whole life, or was it something that it was just a light bulb that like, whoa, I think I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic.
I think it was always there, but the light bulb went off. I just was in denial. I was just in denial. But when I reflect about my life, it's like I'm the most stubborn guy. I mean, you could kind of tell. It's like I had an issue the first time I drank at 16 years old, or maybe a little younger. I was like running around San Alejo beach grounds, where there's a camps, and I was getting in trouble and like causing fights and issues. So I had issues since day one, and it
Um,
just took me a long time being so stubborn to finally admit it. And then Ultimate Fighter, the first one you saw, it's like I've always had these issues, but I could always come back from it. So I think in my head I rationalized it. I'm like, oh, I'll come back because that's what I do, and I did, but I've fallen off the worst I've ever fallen off, and it's how much more can I come back? What's the next fall off going to be? Am I going to be dead, alive, more time in
mm,
jail? Like I can't keep doing this, and I just have to accept it and admit it. So I guess it's kind of I always knew it was there, but I'm just finally accepting it.
yeah. Well, I would imagine that there's a lot of shame and guilt and not wanting to admit that to people for various reasons. And I'm sure,
That's a
like,
topic. I don't know if you, dude, that's a topic in our like recovery, shame, guilt, resentment, all that stuff. Lots of
yeah.
shame.
What do you think that is? Like, 'cause, like because you want to help people. So do I. I'm the same way. So what do you think that is? Like, if somebody was sitting right here on this call with us and they were like, I'm not admitting I'm an alcoholic or an addict. What do you think that the step is to get over that?
That's a great question. And what I'm learning here, there's nothing me or you can say. There's nothing. The only
Wow.
person to realize it is them. They have to be ready to give it up. Yeah, it's deep. Like that was my issue. No one can tell me what to do. It's like such a stubborn disease. It's not a normal thing, but it's a disease for sure. There's nothing you can say really. I mean, that's why it's so sad. That's why you see people die from it. They lose their kids from this shit because you can't do anything. It's like they have to realize it themselves that they're walking off a cliff. They're the only ones to have the awakening. It helps, I guess, to tell them the stories. It helps to read it, but if they don't acknowledge it and accept it, uh, that's what I mean. I don't know what if they don't accept it. There's nothing you can do. They gotta accept it. That's the first. You can tell them all these stories and tell them, hey, look, this would happen. You're gonna end up like me if you could have all your dreams taken away from you like that. And uh, I think for a real addict alcoholic, they have to realize it themselves. So I think normal people like maybe you and other people, they are smart and they go, okay, I can't be doing that. But for the addicts and alcoholics, they're not dumber, I'd say, maybe just more stubborn. They're going to have to learn the hard way. They're going to have to accept it. It's very hard to talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking on a much smaller scale. Like
Right.
we've all been in fights with a loved one, and maybe said some things we shouldn't have said, but they also might have hurt us or said something they shouldn't have said. But it's so difficult to own your side. It's so difficult just to
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I messed up when I said that,"
Very
because you're
hard.
holding on to what they did or what they said or and that's why I did what I did. But it's very it's a release to say your side, to say, hey, I own my part.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So where is forgiveness on the timeline for you? Like, have you forgiven yourself?
You gotta forgive, man. I'm doing that now, and I'm going to do that the rest of my life. Um, and it's so hard to truly forgive. Sometimes you forgive someone, but do you really forgive someone? And uh, it's hard. It's very hard, but to heal, you gotta forgive. For yourself, you gotta do it. If you don't forgive, you're going to stay in that same spot. And a lot of people can't forgive, and it's very, very hard to practice real forgiveness. And that's one thing I'm grateful for, and not grateful like not saying, hey, it's good to be an alcoholic and addict, but if you can recover from alcoholism and addiction, you're going to have forgiveness in your heart because that's one of the first things we have to do, accept and forgive. And you got to forgive myself. I got to forgive my parents. I got to forgive, past relationships. And it's hard. It's one of the toughest things to really forgive someone. But you have to do it for them, but you have to really do it for yourself, or you're not gonna move on. And I'm still trying to forgive some people, and that's hard. It's
Hmm.
hard.
What about yourself? Have you forgiven yourself? Because I know that just season 7 alone, like I know you could probably go back and pinpoint some things that maybe you wish you would or wouldn't have done.
Right.
And uh, have you forgiven yourself for those?
Nick, I'm working on it. I
Yeah.
forgive myself, but to do like real forgiveness, to go real deep in the soul and forgive yourself, it's hard, and the problem is I'm still like I'm getting better, but I still do things that are questionable, and it's hard to forgive myself for everything I've done. And uh, hard is not think of the would have, could have, should have if I didn't do certain things. I try to look at it. There's a reason for it though, and it was better. Like even season 7, I've kind of forgiven myself in that sense because look what happened 10 years later. I won, you know, uh, 25. What's hard to forgive is some of my personal stuff with relationships and stuff I've done when I was drunk. And then even after season 25, I failed another drug test. It's like, it's hard to forgive myself. Like, why can't I learn from my mistakes? But I think to learn from my mistakes, I have to forgive myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a hard thing. It's like I forgive myself, but do I really forgive myself? It's like I have to really accept some stuff. And I guess there's certain things I forgive and certain things that I haven't forgiven myself yet for.
Mm. So ongoing process.
It's an ongoing process for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm kind of in the beginning stages of this, because I just got here, and uh, that's what I was saying too. It was weird. Like jail is easy because jail sucks, but it's survival, and you don't do anything. In these
Hmm.
programs, you got to work on yourself. Like, and I've had some emotional breakthroughs in times because it's deep and you're 100% sober. I've always masked it, even if it's just weed, you're still masking it, and I'm just having to take it all. And there's so much work to do on your things you don't think about, like the forgiveness, your upbringing, guilt, shame, resentment, forgiveness. I said forgiveness. Uh, Judgment. Judgment's a big one. Denial, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or-
Well, it's interesting that you just said you didn't have to work on it in jail, but you had to work on it there.
Yeah, in jail you don't have to work on it because
That's
it's just
interesting. I mean, you would think that that's
you
they would have.
try, you try, and you do, I guess, a little bit because I journaling a lot. You have a lot of free time. You read a lot, I guess, but you're not getting therapy in those group sessions nonstop throughout the day, and everyone's talking about their issues, and it sucks. But you do realize, like, I'm no different than a lot. A lot of people have worse. There's people that have worse issues, and some people that don't have as much issues. But I think just sharing my story helps me, and it helps people. They
Mm-hmm.
see like how human I am, and and the Bible. It's like what's it, Job, Job, God tested him, and I've had a lot of tests in my life.
Yeah. So, where's your parents in all this? Are they still your parents still alive?
Parents still alive, thank God, and they're very supportive, caring. Like I said, they're great parents, loving. They just want the best for me.
It's
Um,
great.
just worried about me, where I'm at, and always kind of being somewhat of a loose cannon. And but they see that I'm getting better, and I know they're happy, but I still struggle because there's past stuff, and that's another thing. Anger is a huge one, man. Anger is a huge trigger. So you got to have forgiveness, but they're still there. But there's some anger and resentment there for sure with them, and they love me and they're supporting and caring, but I hate to say they could be demeaning, they could be belittling, they could talk down kind of, and I don't know. I'm not trying to say they're very good parents, but it's like I want to be treated like a human being and a person. And I think that was hard sometimes for me that I was looked at as an animal, kind of like this big dumb jock. And I think I just have a lot more to offer, and I think it just hurts sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I think about this daily with my 9-year old because it's, I criticize things that she does, but it's all because I want her, I know her potential.
That's where my dad comes from. You can almost love someone too much. And I've had this with girls I love. You can love someone so much that it comes off like overbearing or like you can like my dad he loves you, but he's like too much, like too worried, too care
Mm,
he just he I think he had a tough life. Like he actually had a real tough life. He grew up in a his dad, my grandpa had to go to prison for a while. He got left in a foster, to get orphaned for a little bit.
wow.
Foster, like, so he just He doesn't want that to happen to me, and it kind of ended up. Sometimes you don't want something to happen, and it happens.
Yep.
And that's kind of I think, kind of the case. I think happened with me because he rode my coattails really hard. He rode me really hard. It was really hard on me in a good way. He loved me. Like I know that he loved me incredibly, but he rode me so hard. It was, I think, hard to deal with. And maybe like, we've been talking. It's like a therapy session with you, man. But I think that's where some of this trouble comes. It's hard to get rode hard like that all the time since a kid. It's like you want to rebel or you want to
Yeah.
go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Have you ever had any discussions with him about any of this?
I have here and there, and especially being here a little bit. Again, I love my dad, but the issue is too. I think he maybe one day he'll understand. He's like a New Yorker, East Coaster, and he just a hard-headed kind of like he acknowledges it, but doesn't really change. It's just his how he was raised in that tough kind of New York City. Coming from nothing to something. He came from nothing. And became a
Mm-hmm.
really successful man. And I think he just wants the same for me, and he's seen glimpses of it, but not maybe as much as him. But it's also hard to deal with that pressure, and because I love my dad and I want to be a great man like him. And I struggle with, am I as good as him? And I don't know,
Mm.
he just wants the best for me. So it's hard for him to kind of take the blame, I guess. It's hard for him to really look at it. He doesn't even know he's doing it, I think.
Yeah. Well, so this is why I look, I'm learning a lot from talking to you as well. That's why I love these kind of open conversations. And I thought about something right after we got off right after we dropped the last call. And I was thinking, I told you a little bit like my brother bullied me, and there was a message I got from that. I'm worthy of being bullied, right? And then I thought like it's not my brother's fault that he bullied me. It's my fault that I believed the lie that I'm worthy of being bullied or I'm not enough.
Right.
That's what, and we kind of just discussed like owning your side of a argument or disagreement, and I feel like that's kind of yeah, that's what I took away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, can I ask a personal question?
yeah.
How are your kids handling this? And you don't have to answer that if you don't want.
Yeah, no, that's fine, man. I love it's my, as I have issues with my parents. I have a very good relationship with my kids, and both my son and both of my sons are handling it really, really well. They're very. My son just visited me. He's 21. My oldest, 21
Mm,
already. He's the best. Sometimes when you get in a tough situation, you learn a lot. Like my kids are really smart already because they seen what they see me. They see I'm a great dad, but
yep.
I fucked up, and they're just really good kids. They're older boys, and they're very supportive. They just want the best for me. My youngest son just congratulated me. He's like, "You're doing so good now." My 16. Um, they're just sweet kids, and they're handling it much better than I thought. They're almost, I hate to say it, they see the silver lining that I don't see. They're almost happy in a way,
Mm,
getting better, and they're just really supportive, and uh they're handling it really well. They had to grow up a little faster than other kids, and
yeah.
it's sucks. They're almost better for it in a weird way. And the one I worry about my daughter. I have a daughter too now, and she's 5, and we FaceTime, and she loves it, but she does definitely misses me. Because she's younger, and she doesn't really understand like where I'm at and why she wants to go to my daddy's house. She always says when she FaceTime.
Mm,
Yeah, she misses me, and I know that for sure. But she's always happy, I can tell. But I know she misses me and wants. And I miss her. I want to give her a hug. I haven't hugged her and seen her physically in more than like 2.5 months now. So uh,
Wow.
little ones is where the ones I worry about her. She needs a dad, and she misses me. So for her, that's a little more worrisome for sure.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, I wish the nothing but the best for you, and I hope you do get reunited with your daughter soon.
Yeah, we will. There's a pumpkin thing here, and I hope the mom, she's a max. Hope she's worried about the rehab stuff, but I said it's a good family thing. Hopefully she comes up, and I'll be reunited with her soon. I know it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. And keep fighting.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fighting on
And
this, man. Hey, I didn't even know that Ricky Hatton, the boxer. Remember him? He was a
no.
good boxer. We'll look him up. I don't know. I just noticed it was sad. I guess in September, I didn't even know in September he hung himself, and he was a great boxer.
Wow.
Got to keep fighting, man. And I think that's my message, bro. But I want to keep fighting for sure and helping people give back. And I want to fight too. I want to fight professional again, and I want to make a run for it. I want to at least go for it. Whatever happens,
Yeah.
happens. I go for it.
It seems like you have everything lined up right now. So stay on that path. Really.
Awesome. I will, bro. I will. I will.
Yeah, and thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. The Heart of the Bad Wolf is created and hosted by Nicholas James Muscarella, produced by Nicholas James Muscarella and Robert Altschuler, edited, recorded, and mixed by Robert Altschuler at Command Creative Studios. Music by Alex Grohl. Special thanks to every fighter who shared their story and their wolf. Don't forget to hit the like, follow, and subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform to get notified when new episodes drop. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Heart of the Bad Wolf.